Why does God delay partnerships in the lives of people who are spiritually aligned? This question has weighed on the hearts of many. You seek, pray, and dedicate yourself, but the right relationship seems to never arrive. And the hardest part, no one around you understands what is happening. But there are spiritually strong justifications behind this waiting. While some think you are being picky or living out of touch with reality, God is acting in silence. He does not work in haste. He works with precision. If the relationship has not yet happened, it is because something is being shaped in you, or in the right person who is yet to come. God does not just bring any two paths together. He aligns purposes. There are spiritual processes that precede the blessing, and when it comes to love in the life of a chosen one, nothing is by chance. There is a time of solitude that heals, a time of silence that prepares, and a wait that protects. In this video, you will understand why waiting is not a delay. It is divine care. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel. Here you will find spiritual answers to questions that the world cannot explain. Content that aligns faith and purpose with depth and clarity. Now, stay with us until the end. Today you will discover 5 spiritually strong reasons why God has delayed, and may still be delaying, the blessing of a partnership in your life. It is not punishment. It is protection. It is not denial. It is preparation. And when the right moment comes, love will arrive as a mission, not as a distraction. 1. Love does not define who you are. Before thinking about sharing your life with someone, you need to look within. Many people grow up believing they will only be complete when they find a partner. But this does not apply to those who have been set apart by God. The identity of a chosen one does not come from an earthly relationship, but from the relationship with the Creator. If you have not yet found someone, it does not mean you are incomplete. It means you are under construction. True love begins in you, in your value, in your dedication, in your truth with God. He wants you to see yourself as He sees you, whole, full of purpose, ready to contribute, not to depend. Those who know themselves in God do not enter a relationship out of need. They enter on a mission. And a mission requires clarity. The rush to find someone can make you fit into a mold that is not yours, just to be accepted. But God has not called you to conform to others. He has called you to be authentic in Him. That is why relationships often take time. God is working in you. He is breaking fears, healing old wounds, cleaning the lies that the world has planted about what it means to be loved. Because the love that comes from Him does not start with someone else. It begins with what He has already deposited in you. It is not the status of a relationship that validates you. It is knowing who you are, even when no one is looking. When you understand your spiritual identity, you stop accepting emotional crumbs. You cease to chase after what does not nourish you. Because you know that what comes from God does not bring confusion. It brings peace. And peace is the fruit of alignment. The world teaches that love is the happy ending. But with God, love is part of the journey, not the final destination. He wants you to be complete in Him before joining with someone else. Because when that happens, you will not lose yourself in the other. You will add to one another. You will build. You will love with truth, without ceasing to be yourself. Being whole before loving is protection. It is wisdom. It is honor for your own story. Because those who do not know who they are end up accepting anything to avoid being alone. But the chosen have not been called to settle for anything. They have been called to live with purpose. And purpose requires a firm identity, a healed heart, and a renewed mind. If you are in this waiting period, do not blame yourself. Use this time to dive into who you are in God. Seek to know your gifts, your values, and what makes your heart burn. The more you find yourself in Him, the more prepared you will be to live a healthy, genuine, and meaningful partnership. And when that love arrives, it will not be to complete you, but to walk alongside you. It will not be to fill voids, but to multiply what already exists within you. God wants to see you whole before joining your life with another, because only whole hearts can love in a mature and spiritual way. The identity of the chosen one is secure in God. Relationships come and go, but who you are in Him remains. This is the foundation. This is the bedrock. And that is why love cannot be your starting point. It will be the consequence of a journey lived with clarity, faith, and obedience. 2. Loneliness is a laboratory of purpose. Waiting is not a punishment. It is a sacred process. When God chooses someone, He does not deliver everything at once. He prepares. And often, this preparation happens in the silence of solitude. It is in this place that the soul matures, that identity strengthens, and that purpose begins to take real shape. Loneliness hurts, especially when everyone around seems to be moving forward. Marrying, dating, building life together. You look to the side and ask yourself, why hasn't it happened for me yet? But what seems like a delay is actually polishing. God is shaping the inside before releasing the outside. Solitude has the power to reveal what you have been trying to hide even from yourself. The insecurities, the fears, the patterns you copied without realizing it. When there is no one to please, you begin to see who you really are. And this is precious. God does not want masks. He wants your truth. This time alone is not the end of the road. It is the beginning of the construction. It is in the secret that the oil is poured out. It was alone that Joseph interpreted dreams. It was alone that David wrote Psalms. It was alone that Jesus prayed in Gethsemane. Loneliness is where the chosen receive instructions that the world would not understand. You are not forgotten. You are being set apart. And that is different. Those who are set apart by God need to learn to walk with Him first, before walking with someone else. The relationship that comes afterward will no longer be the center of your existence, but an extension of what God has already begun to do within you. In solitude, you learn to depend more on God than on people. You learn to be fulfilled by His presence and not by attention. This heals. This strengthens. This prepares the heart for a relationship that is genuine and not an emotional escape. Those who do not learn to be okay alone risk losing themselves in another. God is training you. And this training is not visible to everyone. It is discreet but deep. Every tear shed in your room, every prayer made in silence, every night you missed someone. All of this is being used by God as tools for building. Nothing is being wasted. While you wait, something inside you is being established. You are learning to hear God's voice more. You are noticing gifts you hadn't recognized before. You are gaining discernment. You are learning to filter people, to perceive intentions, to say no when necessary. This is maturity. And maturity precedes the miracle. When the right relationship comes, it will not fill a void. It will overflow something that already exists. You will recognize that love because you will already be complete. You will not compete for attention, nor will you accept less than you deserve. Because now you know who you are, and you know what you carry within you. Do not despair for still being alone. Use this time as a laboratory. Write down your learnings. Tend to your emotions. Invest in your calling. What seems like waiting is actually preparation for something greater than you can imagine. And God works with those who are willing to grow in silence. Life as a couple requires much more than feelings. It demands internal structure. It requires spiritual maturity. It requires emotional stability. And all of this is being built inside you now in this time that seems empty, but is full of purpose. You may not see it, but God is working behind the scenes. The loneliness that squeezes you today will be the foundation of the strength that will support your future mission. A time will come when you will look back and be grateful for not rushing. You will understand that God spared you from shortcuts that could have diverted your course. You will realize that silence taught you what words cannot reach. Stay firm. Keep growing. Do not chase after love. Build yourself. Because when you are ready, God will not only bring someone, He will bring the right someone. Someone who has also gone through this laboratory. Someone who understands you in faith, in purpose, and in the walk. And together, you will not be a distraction. You will be a mission. 3. You are being protected from unequal yoke. Not every good person is right for you. Not every smile comes with purpose. And that is why God, out of love, withholds connections that seem good, but are not spiritually aligned with your calling. He does not unite opposites in mission. He unites alignment. And this, for those who are chosen, is more important than fleeting affinities. Sometimes what seems like a delay is actually protection. You pray, fast, prepare, and someone appears. Charismatic, interested, with seemingly pure intentions. But deep down, something feels off. The conversation does not flow at the same frequency as your faith. The priorities are different. The gaze is beautiful, but the direction is different. God sees this before you do. Relationships can be a blessing or a distraction. The wrong bond can take years from your journey. It can emotionally involve you in something that weakens your spiritual life. It can extinguish your flame, confuse your identity, and dilute the purpose that God entrusted to you. God will not allow this for those He has set apart for something greater. The unequal yoke is not always obvious. Sometimes it is disguised as companionship. Sometimes it comes with sweet words and superficial support. But deep down, there is misalignment. The Spirit senses it before the heart understands. And if you are attentive, you will notice. God always warns. He places unease, signs, obstacles, all to protect you. Your mission is too great to be shared with someone who does not understand its value. God knows where you can go, but He also knows how much a wrong connection can delay your harvest. He is not being cruel by saying not yet. He is being careful. He is guarding you from pains you cannot even imagine. Many good people come together, but do not grow together, because they do not have the same spiritual focus. One wants to build in the spirit, the other only in the emotional. One seeks purpose, the other seeks only companionship. And this becomes a burden over time. What was meant to be partnership becomes a weight, and God does not unite to burden. He unites to build. God knows the behind the scenes of the heart. He knows what is behind the words and intentions. While you see the exterior, He probes the soul. While you cling to the presence, He sees the destiny. That is why He blocks connections that seemed promising. Not out of lack of love, but out of care for your future. You may not understand now, but you will be thankful later. You will look back and see deliverances that seemed like rejections. You will realize that the person who left your life was not the loss it appeared to be. It was the liberation you needed. God does not subtract to hurt. He subtracts to preserve. So stop insisting on prayers that He has already answered with silence. Stop trying to reconnect what God has already ended. The love He has for you will not come with doubts, nor with division. It will come with peace, with clarity, with purpose. And when it comes, you will recognize that it was God who sent it, not your feelings. The unequal yoke is not just a difference in faith. It is a difference in direction. And God will not allow your life to take another course because of a poorly chosen relationship. If you feel like you are waiting too long, remember, this wait is protection. He is freeing you from walking with those who do not walk alongside you, but against you. 4. The unequal yoke is not visible to natural eyes. Some people seem spiritually ready. They speak beautifully, know the Bible, attend services, and pray in public. But when the journey deepens, something starts to clash. The light that seemed to shine was just a reflection. Not every spirituality is genuine, and not every discourse reveals a heart aligned with God. The unequal yoke often comes disguised as faith. You may know someone who prays with you, fasts with you, and even talks about God with enthusiasm. But just spending a little more time together reveals that this person's heart is not walking in the same direction as yours. They talk about faith, but live by the flesh. They get emotional about the word, but do not commit to it. God sees this before you do. The unequal yoke is not just a difference in belief. It is a difference in essence, in commitment, in spiritual priority. While you seek depth, the other seeks appearance. While you want to grow in obedience, the other wants convenience. And this difference may seem small at first, but over time, it becomes a vast distance between purposes. God knows what goes on in the innermost being of each person. He is not impressed by words or public gestures. He examines motivation. He knows whether that spirituality is rooted or just a facade. That is why he protects you from alliances that, in natural eyes, seemed perfect, but, in his eyes, carried confusion, ego, or deviation. The mistake of many is to let themselves be guided only by emotions. Need can cloud discernment, and when this happens, a person begins to force connections that God never approved. Appearance convinces the eye, but does not sustain the spirit. Time reveals what the eyes cannot see, and God always warns before damage occurs. Not every relationship where there is prayer in common has a shared mission, and you need to understand this to avoid frustration with connections that dissolve. God did not take something good from you. He spared you from something shallow. He protected you from building a bond on a foundation that would not withstand the first storms. There are people who are in church, but not at the altar. They are close to you, but far from what God wants for your life. And this does not make them bad people, just people who are not designated to walk with you. God separates paths, not out of lack of love, but out of excess care. You need someone who has depth with God, not just an appearance of spirituality. Someone who does not just quote verses, but lives according to them. Someone who pulls you closer to God and does not distract you with the world. Someone who hears the voice of the Spirit, not just follows religious customs. The unequal yoke is subtle, but dangerous. It gradually wears down your faith. It makes you doubt what was once clear. It traps you in emotional cycles when you should be advancing in your calling. That is why God, out of love, delays relationships that do not propel you spiritually. He keeps you for connections that build you up. If you have gone through a breakup and felt that you lost something, ask God what He saved you from carrying. Sometimes the pain of separation is the healing of a deviation. And what seemed like a loss was, in fact, divine intervention. God does not want you to walk with those who do not support what He has planted in you. Trust in His eyes, not just your own. What He sees, you may not yet be able to perceive, but the peace that comes afterward will confirm it was protection. The right love does not need to be forced or explained. It will be light, clear, and full of purpose, and you will know it came from God. 5. true partnerships are missions, not rewards. For those who have been set apart by God, love is not a consolation prize. It is not a gift for having waited or for having been faithful. Love, for the chosen, is an extension of the calling. It is a spiritual partnership, directed and intentional. When God brings two people together, He is not just creating a couple, He is activating a covenant of mission. God does not bring two people together to fill emotional voids. He unites purposes. He expects you to be whole in Him, healed, and aware of your identity before placing someone by your side. When two complete people meet, they do not live a fragile romance. They build, serve, grow, and multiply what God has entrusted to each one. True relationships are not distractions. They are structures. They bring clarity, focus, and support. The right partnership strengthens your faith, broadens your vision, and connects you to a deeper level of God's will. It takes you out of loneliness, not to distract you, but to align you with something greater than you could live on your own. True partnerships come with peace. Even in the face of challenges, there is conviction. The heart knows, the mind understands, the spirit testifies. Because it is not just a feeling, it is a mission. They are two people who recognize themselves not just as companions, but as co-laborers of the same purpose. God unites missions, not just emotions. The right love does not diminish your spiritual strength. On the contrary, it enhances it. It prays with you. It celebrates your achievements and lifts you up on difficult days. It understands that the calling comes first, and the relationship is a means to glorify God, not to replace His presence. This is rare, but this is exactly what God wants to give you. God does not want you to enter a relationship that only pleases you on the outside. He wants you to walk with someone who helps you sustain what He has planted in you. Someone who inspires you to continue, who sees your essence, who has reverence, who has a vision for the future, because those who carry a promise need those who know how to honor its weight. Many good people may come your way, but not all are designated by God to share the calling with you. His timing is protective. He will not give you just any covenant. He will prepare something that has roots, that withstands time, that can endure spiritual warfare, and that flourishes with lasting fruits. Passion comes quickly. Purpose is built. And when the excitement fades, what sustains is what has been built in the Spirit. The love that remains is not the one that starts with intensity, but the one that is maintained with consistency, with foundation, with obedience, with a clear vision that the two together are stronger for the glory of God. Many want to be loved. Few want to be instruments of growth in the life of the other. But that is what God seeks. Alliances that generate spiritual fruits, that impact others, that build up instead of draining. God does not want to give you someone to entertain you. He wants to give you a partnership that helps you fulfill your mission. And when this love arrives, you will understand the reason for the waiting. You will look back and realize that no was in vain, that the process of preparation was worth every second. The love that will come will not be an emotional escape. It will be a reconnection of purposes. It will be gentle, deep, secure, and full of destiny. Waiting is not standing still. It is growing in silence. It is being trained in secret, where no one sees, but where God acts with the greatest intensity. The waiting time is where your faith takes root, where character is shaped, and where you learn to trust God more than your own desires. This is where the miracle begins. God is not in a hurry with those He wants to use deeply. He does not rush what is not yet ready. When He makes you wait, it is because He is taking care of details you do not see. He is aligning time, purpose, people, and circumstances so that everything happens with intention. and not just emotion. What is born at the right time flourishes with strength. What is born too early may captivate at first, but it does not sustain the process. That is why God plants you with care. He hides you when necessary. He prunes you when you think you are ready enough. Because those who are called to bear fruit need to be rooted first. The wait also teaches you to see beyond neediness. It teaches you to say no to what is good in order to wait for what is right. It teaches that true love does not come to fill a void, but to add purpose. Only those who have been worked on inside understand this. Those who have spent enough time with God to recognize His signs. God does not delay love. He aligns destinies. And this takes time. Because the right person is not always ready when you think they are. Sometimes God is also working on the other side, preparing hearts, healing wounds, aligning paths. And when both are ready, He makes the meeting happen in a natural and powerful way. You are not forgotten. You are being refined. God is building something solid within you. And when the time comes, He will surprise you with something that goes beyond what you asked for. Because He always delivers more than we expect, especially when we choose to wait on Him and not on our own timelines. Keep serving. Keep growing. Keep obeying. Do not stop your life because of something that has not yet arrived. God does not want you to just wait. He wants you to develop while you wait. Because the person you will be in the future needs to be built now. And this process begins with daily choices of faith and maturity. When the right relationship comes, it will be a consequence, not the objective. It will be light, fluid, full of peace. It will not come to distract you, but to align you even more with what God has prepared. It will not be a burden. It will be a shared mission. And everything that seemed delayed will make sense. Because in God's timing, love arrives as an answer, not as confusion. So trust. God does not waste processes. Every tear, every prayer, every day of silence has a purpose. And you are being planted, not forgotten. And when the right season comes, everything that has been watered in secret will blossom with strength and beauty. Love will come. And it will be the way God dreamed, with purpose, maturity, and direction.